we live?
I think it works.
Is our audio working? Our audio is working. Hello! Welcome to Wednesday Night Modern here at MTGCardmarket. I almost said the wrong thing right there.
You came close.
I am Phil Silberman, joined by this wonderful gentleman.
My name is Greg Schaefer. We usually do the Legacy stream here for MTGCardmarket, but real-life conflicts have driven us to Wednesday. One Wednesday.
Probably some other Wednesdays.
Maybe some other Wednesdays.
Maybe when some sweet cards are legal.
Yeah, I have a few ideas about, I don't know, what I would like to do.
About things.
Yeah.
Great. I'm proud of you.
It's actually a lie.
Anyways, we've got two players waiting. I don't think they're waiting for us, actually. I think they're just getting set right now. I know one of the players was waiting on his cards, and I think he was just sleeving up. We can hop down to the play area and keep chatting. Well, it's going... Oh, they're not... There's Dan on the right. We've got Dan Dwan on the right playing... a deck that I think will not really be too great once the banning set. I guess, okay, I should mention, for those wondering, this is going to be the final pre-banning event for Modern. So today is the last day you will see the card Ayavugan being played in Modern for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, Ayavugan, a huge notable banning, just got announced on Monday, and two notable unbans, including Ancestral Vision, the card that is in the top right corner currently. Might revitalize blue as a color in the format. Probably actually a pretty sure bet that it will.
I'm like 100% convinced it will.
Yeah.
It is so powerful already.
Mm-hmm.
Like blue is like pushed out a little bit for just a little while, and Control in particular has been basically gone since Twin was banned.
Yeah, and Twin was like half a Control deck.
Yes.
It's hard to know exactly, like what shells Ancestral Vision will be proved to be best in, or like what the metagame will tell blue decks that they should be doing, I suppose. Because there are a lot of cards that complement Ancestral Vision and Snapcaster Mage, and really those are the only blue cards I would be like really hell-bent on playing, honestly.
Snapcaster Mage is a pretty good card.
Yeah, I mean you don't even have to play Snapcaster. You could just play Jace Vryn's Prodigy instead.
Why not both?
Who knows?
I'm a fan of both, but yeah. A lot of directions you can go with it. Even blue-white is a shell like thing to slot in.
Yeah.
And then the other unbanned being Sword of the Meek.
Yeah, I mean Sword of the Meek could slot into a blue-white control deck as a win condition.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know how good it is. Like, my big worry is that decks that play both Ancestral Vision and Thopter Foundry will be full of way too much air.
Sure.
But both decks have, both cards certainly have spots to be.
Yeah. A lot of power. All
right, looks like Kyle has started things off with a Shock with a Stomping Ground into a Wild Nacatl. Dan going to start things off with, after playing a Tap Colonnade on turn 1. Going to fetch with Flooded Strand here. Going to at least 19. Probably going to pick up a basic here. Yep, picked up a Plains. We'll see one of his 2-drops. Looking for Wall of Omens here.
Wall of Omens would match up very well. I'll be interested to see how big Kyle Herman's Zoo deck is going. It looks like it's Burn with Wild Nacatl because he's holding Eidolon the Great Revel, Riftbolt, etc. It doesn't seem like he's playing like Knight of the Reliquary.
He told me that he does have Tarmogoyf in his deck, interestingly enough, so maybe he's closer to the sort of a hybrid Burn, the red-green, like low to the ground red-green aggro versions that have come up in the past.
Burning Tree Emissary?
Possibly. Maybe Flinthoof Boar?
Who knows?
He does have fetch into the Stomping Ground here. I think we're just going to see an attack for 3 and an Eidolon the Great Revel come down. And really it's just up to Dan to stabilize and keep out of the range of burn spells. His deck does have a fair amount of life gain in it, mostly with Ojutai's Command. Mm-hmm. Searing Blaze is a good one, though. Woo. That's a bit better than Eidolon, I'd say.
Kill Jace, 3 to your Dome, and attack for 3. So Dan is going to be down to 13 after this attack. Now
it's up to him to put some together to beat this Nacatl. I mean, he's got a plethora of removal spells in his deck. It's just, this might be a little awkward. I think he just drew a Condemn.
I think he might have already, if he just drew it, he already had another one in his hand as well.
And there's another Jace.
Can we pull up Condemn real quick?
We can.
Not the most popular Modern card ever, but definitely has probably gotten the most Modern play in the past couple months than it compared to any time in Modern.
Oh, I think easily seeing the peak of its play.
Yeah.
Condemn. Yeah, putting a creature on the bottom. It's a fine removal spell.
Only in a pretty defensive deck that's planning on being attacked a lot.
Yes. That's exactly what this blue-white control deck is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kyle going to see how he wants to sequence this card. He's going to start with the Lava Spike, dropping down to 10. This matchup, by the way, does seem pretty difficult. Attack with a Nacatl.
It's interesting, like...
And then it gets condemned.
The blue-white deck does have a fair amount of things like... Doesn't it have, like, Lone Missionary, or is it not playing that stuff main deck?
I don't. It's certainly not playing Lone Missionary main deck. It might not even have any sideboard.
Okay, so it's more like Wall of Omens, Verdict.
Yep, Verdict,
Okay.
Elspeth Sun's Champion, maybe a Gideon Jura.
So is the life gain of choice Ojutai's Command?
I think it's just Ojutai's Command.
Okay.
Cryptic Command is not a terrible draw, but given Dan's mana...
Yeah, the Ghost Quarter's looking a little gun-shy.
Yeah, I think Dan also... I don't know why he... I think he kind of went for the plains a little preemptively.
Yeah.
He could have fetched an island there.
In his Cryptic Command deck?
Yes. At least that was my thought.
Yeah, notably, is this the first tournament Dan's playing with this deck?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's not going to activate his Jace main phase.
Looking for...
Opting to hold it back.
Looking for mana.
Likely. All right, Kyle going to fetch here, going down to 17. Let's see if this is an end step Atarka's Command. Dan really just hoping to have some mana leaks.
Yeah.
Mana leak would be excellent here.
Any attrition seems like it would be great here for him.
Anything but removal.
Yeah.
Kyle's just going to get this land fetched. He does have Atarka's Command in his hand, as well as Eidolon the Great Revel, which he refused to cast.
Yeah, he is getting this land tapped, it seems. Unless he is using it for mana already, but it doesn't seem like that's the case.
No. Well,
okay, Lightning
it's a
Bolt, you, I think. Nope, Jace. Okay.
Dan doesn't activate in response, interestingly.
Yeah.
I think that might have... I think he just realized it.
Ah, boy.
I don't think Dan has ever actually sleeved up the card Jace Prince Prodigy.
I don't think I've ever seen Dan play a blue card, to be honest.
He used to play Blue Red Control all the time.
Oh. I don't know if I knew Dan back then.
Dan just drawing Supreme Verdict for the turn here. I would not be surprised to see him just cast it right now. Just 1-for-1 this Eidolon right out of here. Is it really going to get that much better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Verdicted away, go.
He took no damage off of it, and the board's clear. I mean, Dan's not in the best spot, but he's alive.
Kyle with several 2-mana burn spells. That's a Goyf. And a pass back to Dan. We have creature, sorcery, instant, land, enchantment. So it is a 5/6 right now.
Yikes.
It's a big Goyf.
Yeah, that needs to be killed.
See if Dan...
Cards left in Kyle's hand, Tarka's Command, Boros Charm, and Eidolon, I believe.
Yeah.
So, pure fire. Definitely kind of hurting for the fourth land.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. All
To
those
some extent.
those 2 drops are definitely clogging. I mean, he does have 3
Yeah.
spells, so
Right.
not the worst place to
Yeah,
be.
yeah, there are worse problems for sure. Ooh, so Dan,
Draws Gideon Jura.
without his,
5th land.
yeah.
All right, Kyle drawing, looks like another 2-drop. Not the worst spot again. Let's see if Dan has another Condemn. I thought he had the Magic Player Rewards version of it. This
Oh, yeah.
full art version.
Yep, that is it.
Nailed it. Took me a second there. This is going to gain Kyle 6 life. Going to 23. He knows that. No, he doesn't. Now Kyle deciding what other spells to follow this up with. Oh, looks like he drew another Goyf for the turn.
That works.
Dan really wants to draw this 5th mana source.
Really could use Snapcaster Mage.
Snapcaster would be a good draw. Wait.
Nope.
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 That costs
Nope.
5.
Nope.
I got it.
Nope. He picked it up. What
What made him think?
Oh, I don't know what he
He
couldn't
couldn't play it last turn.
Looks like he also has an Elspeth in his hand and drew Mana Leak.
Ooh.
I see Dan actually going with the mono full art plan. Full art Mana Leak, full art Cryptic Command. This is actually how his blue-white red deck was for a while. Was as any card that could have been full art was.
Was there also a bunch of mismatching cards as well? Because he has 1 full art Condemn.
No, it wasn't back then.
Okay.
I think he has such. He had to buy a bunch of cards for this deck today So he's got a little bit of an awkward mix.
Buying a bunch of cards for this card today seems
I don't think they were
a little funny.
I don't think they were expensive, but yes, I agree. It is curious.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now Dan is deciding if he wants to Cryptic to tap this Goyf.
Yeah, I think he probably has to. He's going
No,
to take 5?
He could bounce it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess take 5, hope to counter something main phase. What on earth is this?
Dan he's floating a white with his planes, ghost quartering it to get an island.
Yikes.
And casting Cryptic Command.
And drawing a card.
I have to think that the other mode is draw a card here. I don't
Yeah.
know. Anything else actually bouncing a land gives Kyle mana.
Yes.
It would actually be like Kyle would be thrilled about that. That would actually let him cast 2 of his 2-drops this turn.
Yeah.
All right, looks like Kyle gonna follow it up with Eidolon of the Great Revel. So Dan really wants to draw that Gideon Jura right now, or that mana. Oh, the mana source isn't relevant anymore.
He already, yeah.
If he draws a Supreme Verdict though, which his deck does have 4 of, he'd be all right. Looks like he just drew.
Found a land. I wonder if
Path
he has
to
another
Exile.
Cryptic. No.
He drew Path.
Okay.
Not the best draw.
Not the best in the face of the Eidolon.
In another 2-mana burn spell in Kyle's hand. He's just loaded with the Tarkus commands right now.
Whenever he draws that 4th land, there's just going to be a flurry of spells coming.
He's got a couple Boros Charms too. All right, so this is going to drop down to 8 from the trigger, and then 6 from the Eidolon.
This also gives Kyle the land that he needs.
Yes, which is pretty critical here.
Yeah. Welcome to our friends in the chat, Card Trick Dan, Deathcore Cannon, Bappins,
Hello, hello.
Satsu Kwai, get out of here.
Yep, he can leave.
Smell you later.
We'll see if he's even going to stay. All right, this is going to drop Dan down to 6 after this attack. Kyle electing not to toss out a Tarkus command, doesn't want to waste the damage. I think he wants it to be a 3 damage burn spell at this point, or 4 damage, excuse me. Not necessarily a guarantee at this point.
Yeah.
All right, Dan going to end step, fetch down to 5, and he is just hoping right now. Hope and a prayer. Like, what could he even do? Like, he could draw the 5th mana, play Gideon Jura, kill Eidolon and die.
Yes, he could.
Or he could do
Ojutai's command, bring back Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Oh, God.
Kyle could have given his guys
All
indestructible.
right, Supreme Verdict, taking out Eidolon, Boros Charm U. Kyle going through the motions here, casting some spells.
Even drawing his card. How nice.
Yeah.
And then Natarkus command you. And Dan's dead. Going to game 2 here. Burn taking down Blue-Eye Control in game 1. Yeah, a little bit of a non-traditional, like, Zoo sort of burn deck going on here.
Yeah, definitely going bigger with the Tarmogoyfs.
Tarmogoyfs really changed the game for how I think Dan has to approach this matchup.
Yeah, typically stuff like Verdict is like pretty bad. Mm-hmm. You just want the 1 mana removal.
I think so.
But the 1 mana removal is good against Goyf too, but maybe it's all overloaded because there's just that many more creatures.
Very possible. I know Dan's got a he's got a host of negates and dispels in his sideboard, which likely
those are great.
At least becoming dispels is certainly great.
I wonder how much life gain he has.
I don't think much.
That could be an issue.
I think it's mostly I think this deck has multiple Ojutai's commands in it,
okay,
as well as multiple Jaces.
Well, you could probably get the Elspeth Sun's Champion out of the deck.
It's not great.
It seems like maybe one of the things to cut. Although it does block Tarmogoyf forever. If you ever get to cast it.
Blocks everything forever, but
yeah,
you got to get there.
You do.
All the expensive cards are all
pretty questionable.
Yeah.
You need some win conditions, but...
Yeah. I don't even know if you need... I would be looking to board in Vendilion Click as a win condition. I know it's fragile, but it's very good against burn.
Yeah. I wonder if... Do you think Kyle is going to leave in his Searing Blaze effects because of Vryn's Prodigy?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because that kind of makes Click seem worse, but maybe...
I think you just accept it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely agree, though, in general, like... Just having more clock is great.
Yeah, and Click is just cheap. Like, That's the thing. You just want to lower your curve as much as possible.
Just force interaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
On all the early turns of the game. As long as you're able to survive, you're probably going to be favored.
Because your cards are better going long.
Yes. As long
you want to get into a top deck war.
Yeah. Like Kyle's creatures force Dan to react in a different way, but in general, creatures aren't good against this deck. Like just because creatures can be either, well, with the exception of Eidolon, they can just die without dealing any damage.
Yeah.
As well as be verdicted away, especially because it doesn't look like Kyle has as many haste creatures.
Yeah. I guess Click also has a card you could flash in just to trade with a Nacatl. That seems pretty good.
Yeah. Click is just great.
Yeah, if it eats Lightning Bolt, fine.
Click is a card whenever I play blue decks in Modern.
You just want some in your 75.
Almost always, just because it's a card that you're never sad to board in.
Yeah.
With very few exceptions. I rarely want it against a Lingering Souls deck.
Yes. But you do want it against Tron.
Oh, yeah.
It's your best card.
It's the best card. Yeah, it's your best card. So good there. See if Dan is happy with his 7 here.
Looks like sitting on 2 lands. 2 lands in Kyle's hand, that is. I think Kyle's a draw for turn.
Looks like...
Okay. Unless Dan was tanking there on whether or not he wanted to do something.
Not sure if that was the case.
Hard to tell.
Kyle got a Bloodstained Mire, gonna fetch. Dan just gonna fetch now, let him know what's going on. I think he wanted to see what he's gonna do. I think
yeah. Simian Spirit Guide, Tarmogoyf. You feel pretty bad if you fetched and couldn't spell snare.
Oh, so loose. Alright, Kyle taking 3 here, picking up a Sacred Foundry to start things off. So no Nacatl on turn 1. Let's see if he has a Goblin Guide.
Could be Guide, could be Lavamancer, although I'd kind of suspect no Lavamancer, considering that Tarmogoyf's in his deck.
Could be Lone Lion. Swiftspear.
Ooh. The other Goblin Guide.
Mm-hmm. The better Goblin Guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this deck, it's close.
It's
in
really
general,
good with the Pargus
I think
command.
It's better.
Yeah. Alright, Dan taking 1 here and then 1 more from his fetch. He does have a Path in his hand, which he can use at any point. No real incentive to use it on his main phase.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to give Kyle that land now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else Dan's got going on here. He's got another fetch land. He's got a Mana Leak.
Oh, is that a Mana Leak?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. The full arts are tripping me up.
Oh yeah, I'm a full art expert at this point.
Are you?
Now, after playing against Dan for a while, yeah. Passing it back to Kyle. I think we'll only see Dan act here if Kyle plays a non-creature spell. All right, Kyle gonna fetch here down to 16. I think. So I need to confirm this, but it looked like Kyle had a Path to Exile in his hand, which would be very surprising to me. Does not seem like the kind of card you would want against this control deck.
I agree.
I could be wrong though. It looked like the golf swing path. I don't know what the right. Or is that Swords to Plowshares? Is what I'm thinking of? It might be.
No, that's a path.
It is a path. Wow.
Yeah, that's the F&M promo.
F&M, that's what it is. Here's a Wild Nacatl. Let's see what Dan thinks about this. If he wants to Mana Leak it or not.
Pre-combat.
Yeah, it is interesting that he's doing this pre-combat.
I think I would leak.
Just use the leak.
Yeah, because if Kyle doesn't do nothing else this turn, then what's the worst he can do? Lava Spike?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Lava Spike. Put you to 15. Supposed to put you to 13.
I think I would rather have dealt with the Nacatl than the Lava Spike.
I agree. It depends a little bit on what Dan's hand looks like.
Sure.
But I like waiting as long as possible to path.
Uh-huh.
As long as you're not dying.
Yeah, if it's only a 1 bonus on Swiftspear and not a Tarka's command on Swiftspear, giving it 2 more, I think it's a little more palatable. Dan has the choice of... Because he has Vrin's Prodigy. Okay, so he gives himself the ability, by playing Flooded Strand, to have access to white here, probably fetching Plains.
For Path to Exile.
Yeah, if
Makes
he
sense.
wants.
Yeah.
He also could have fetched Island and played Jace. and held up
blue and white
that way.
It's a little interesting that he decided not to do that.
You know, it kind of depends. He might need the double white anyway.
Yeah.
And he might have another island in hand.
We'll see how Kyle decides to sequence his cards here. Start things off with a Path to Exile. If you're Dan, you've got to be thrilled. Like, a land is...
Yeah, land
is getting ramped is actually much better than Jace.
Probably, yeah.
Especially, depending on the rest of the cards in his hand.
Jace really goes just superbly with Condemn.
Yes.
I think this is where we're going to see Dan use his path.
Yep, Dan fetching the planes while at the same time he's shuffling his library.
Yeah.
And pathing
this path saves 3 life.
Yeah.
Seems worth.
Does indeed. And now it's just up to Dan to find, something like an Ojutai's Command to really get back in this. He has a Cryptic too, so we might be in the realm of stabilization.
Yeah, so the path from Kyle let Dan find a tapped island, then Flooded Strand cracked to find the basic planes to deal with the Swiftspear via Path to Exile. Yep. Kyle found a mountain off of Dan's Path to Exile.
And now we got parity.
Yeah.
Dan playing a Celestial Colonnade and just shipping it back to Kyle. Just holding up that Cryptic. Countering probably the first spell that Kyle casts.
Yeah, we might maybe see some baiting from Kyle.
Yeah, we'll see. I think he has 2 spells he has left are Tarmogoyf and Boros Charm.
Werewolf 4567, good evening.
Kyle drawing the Searing Blaze right on time, exactly after Dan has a creature.
Could not imagine a better use of this Cryptic than Tarmogoyf.
Yep, counter draw from Dan.
Doesn't even have to tap the lands.
Yep. I think if you're Kyle, you just fire off the Boros Charm now.
Seems like it's not getting much better.
No, and you just don't want to get this dispelled.
Yeah.
Drops Dan down to 5, and now...
Spell, negate.
Yeah, now we're in the realm of 2 burn spells.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dan drew another Cryptic.
What is this?
Gideon?
Leaving himself maybe dead.
Unless he has a dispel. Plays Gideon and passes. I mean, Kyle has 1 card.
Yeah.
Like, I like this.
Make him
Are you
have
really going to have another opportunity to do this?
It's possible he won't. I think... Did he hit?
He drew
Bolt.
Bolt. But he can't Searing Blaze.
Ugh. Bolt you.
To 2.
Can put Dan to 1. 1 is not 0, though.
I think this Gideon is definitely getting activated this turn.
Yeah, seems like a good time to...
Ooh, Dan did draw Snapcaster Mage, too. Although he's not quite at Snap Cryptic, he probably has to Ghost Quarter himself to Snap Cryptic. Here's an attack for 6?
With Gideon.
God, Gideon Jura is a real card.
It is. Dan has to be very careful when he counters. So Kyle drew the land. He can... Well, he can't...
Was it a fetch land, though?
It was a shock land.
Nope, not good enough, then. It's going to ship it back to Dan.
Not good enough, why?
Well, it's not going to be able to do anything.
Oh, I see. Because you can't...
Dan with the end step Ambush Viper going for the win.
Ooh.
And now Dan has it locked up. Has Cryptic. Gets to animate his Gideon.
And now with no cards in hand, he can just animate Celestial Colonnade.
Doesn't even need that. This is 8.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, 8 on board.
All right, Dan, good job.
Yeah, Ambush Viper, too strong.
Yeah.
Dan taking that one down, going to game 3 here. Honestly, his deck didn't operate too differently. I think most of the difference was that he was on the play. Is what it felt like. Like, he was able to... Like, he drew his spells in a reasonable order, and his mana wasn't too bad.
Yeah, he also, didn't have to Ghost Quarter his own land.
Yeah, his mana not being bad was pretty critical there.
Right.
Like, I think he would have had a much better time in that first game if he had just fetched an island on turn 2. That plane... I'm not sure... I think he got the planes because he had Verdict in his hand, and he wanted to make sure he had double white.
It's definitely awkward. The Cryptic Command Supreme Verdict Gideon Jura deck.
Yeah.
The mana's not great if you don't draw, Glacial... What's it called? Glacial...
Fortress?
Fortress.
What about Mysticate?
That's also good.
I think there's 1 Mysticate in the deck. There's definitely 4 Ghost Quarters, though.
Okay.
I think Dan was, by the way, looking to board out his Cryptic Commands on the draw, which makes some sense. I think this deck plays 3 Cryptic Commands, some large number like that. But
how many Ojutai's commands?
2 or 3. I think 2.
Okay.
This is not post-ban. The ban's go into effect this Friday. Still wanted to have our tournament be sanctioned.
Yeah, this is the swan song.
Yes, this is the last one.
Mm-hmm.
The swan song. All right. There's nothing even to do with swan song. We'll see how many Eldrazi decks we can actually feature.
That's what swan song means.
I understand. I know what swan song means, Greg.
Well, it doesn't seem like it because you didn't seem to understand.
Okay, just be very clear about it. Thank you very much. Dan, adjusting how he wants to sideboard on the play and the draw, and I think that makes a lot of sense for this. Like, some of his cards are just... Cryptic Command in particular is one that just gains so much value on the play. Like, even Mana Leak is quite a bit worse than the draw, but I don't think you can afford to cut it.
No. I think I would be very motivated to keep all of my cheap cards.
Yep. Still costs 2 mana.
Indeed.
It's just not going to be... You're less likely to hit a good spell with it. Although the game's... Like, Dan's deck is built to draw the game out. Yeah. It just means that, drawing Mana Leak in the early turns could mean he gets overrun.
I wonder how many verdicts he still has in there. It might be 0.
I've definitely had 0. Playing in his position, I've definitely presented decks with 0 post board. I don't think it's crazy at all.
Against Burn specifically?
Yeah. It depends. Like, seeing Nacatl makes me more interested in having Verdict in my deck because it means that they're, more likely to draw Nacatl in a later part of the game.
Yeah.
In which case, see, there's a Verdict. Yeah. Like, going down to 2 is not crazy.
In that game, imagine that Kyle's Path to Exile had been a burn spell.
He wins. He wins that game.
Yeah. Because Dan also can't play Gideon as... Well, no, he had one spare land, I guess, the turn he played Gideon, but still.
Well, for what it's worth, Kyle also just drew the path before he drew the Searing Blaze. Imagine if he had drawn the Searing Blaze instead of the path in out of order. He would have been able to try to path Gideon.
Yeah.
All right. Both players look to be happy with their 7, so Kyle's going to start things off with a fetch. We'll see if he shocks again. Have to think he will. Pick up Stomping Ground. Let's see if we have what 1-drop creature we have to start things off with.
AK Cracker, I don't think Dan is drunk. I think he is just allergic to blue cards.
Look, he wanted to try something different, all right?
Yeah.
Here's a Wild Nacatl.
Inspired by former MTGCardmarket player Alan Wu, who recently won an online PTQ with this blue-white control deck.
Yeah. Alan, crushing people like it's his job.
Yeah,
Magic Online.
Alan Wu has won 3 Magic Online PTQs in the last half year.
Yep. Not bad.
Not even half year?
Yeah.
2 were with Rally, right?
1 was with Rally.
One,
no.
Okay.
He won 1 with Mono Red.
Oh. A Tarka Red?
I think so.
Okay.
All right.
Got some range.
Kyle playing a second Nacatl here. And a Lava Spike. Just going to drop Dan down to 17, and the attack will put him to 15 because these Nacatls are only 2/2s. Dan does have Detention Sphere in his hand, but he does have to get to it. I think he also has multiple Verdicts, which is mildly awkward. If Kyle has the white land here, this is a nightmare. I don't know what Dan... Does Dan have a Jace? Does he have anything here? I think he has just Mana Leak.
Yikes.
If he doesn't have a 2-drop, I mean... Yeah, this is... If Kyle has the white land here, taking 6 is
he had the Jace.
Pretty brutal. Looks like he wanted to hold up Mana Leak.
He might be scared of a Tarka's Command. Tarka's Command would be 5 damage.
Takes 4 right here. Going down to 11. See if Kyle wants to follow it up with anything.
Passes.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. But at least Dan does get to de-sphere these 2 creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is...
Seems fantastic.
Gets both. And passes back to Kyle.
Doesn't have a bolt. Well,
or he does have a bolt, but...
He could have...
Bolted one of his creatures.
Yeah.
He's got 2 bolts. Jeez!
So, yeah. I guess it's better just going upstairs.
I think Kyle's last 2 cards are Goyf. Ooh. Searing Blaze and Lava Spike.
Darth Thieves, Dan won the second game.
Oops. Thank you. Yeah, Kyle, a little bit of an awkward sequencing here. Yeah, he's just got Goyf. Dan really needs some sort of life gain.
Yeah, Ojutai's Command could buy some time.
I think he's just got to verdict away this Jace unless he has a path. Sorry, this
Goyf. Does have Jace in hand.
I mean, Jace is fine, but like, are these verdicts getting better?
Nope.
Yep. Yeah, he's just... We're on the prey mode right now.
Yeah, no burn.
Ooh, well, Kyle drew the land, which is bad news for any future Jaces. Now he's going to leave that one in play. I think Kyle has Lava Spike and Searing Blaze.
Yikes.
Yep, Dan going down to 2.
So Dan, if he plays the Jace, I think he has Negate maybe?
Mana Leak.
Mana Leak. Okay, so he's not just dead if he plays Jace.
He drew Click. He's going to play Jace.
Plays Jace.
Pass back to Kyle now. Now it's up to Kyle to just draw a burn spell, because this is certainly getting countered.
Yeah. Because it's lethal.
Yes, that would be why, yes. Basically, Dan is just hoping he draws creatures every turn for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Except Goblin Guy does kill him, too.
Swift Spear almost does.
Really interesting. So Kyle only fetching a mountain here, which is pretty surprising to me, because he does have Boros Charm in his deck.
Yeah, that could come back to haunt him.
Definitely. Dan immediately going to Mana Leak the Searing Blaze because he didn't want to die. Let's see if Kyle draws the burn spell. Goblin Guide is not lethal anymore.
All right.
Yep, that's
not lethal.
That's what you want to see.
It is very interesting getting the mountain.
Dan has another Jace. Verdict. I think he drew the path.
Ooh. Does he have another counter spell? Or is he still trying to fade?
I think he's got a Click, which is not the same thing.
You can click in the draw step if it's
great.
sorcery speed.
Yeah, if it's exactly Lava Spike.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty bad.
I don't even know what Dan could do here.
I don't know. You can hold back Jace as a blocker.
He's just going to pass.
That looks like a lava no. It's hard to read.
Oh man, is it Lava Spike?
Ooh,
Swift Spear.
Almost Lava Spike.
That is incredibly good news if you're Dan.
Yes, it is. That resolves.
He could just block the Swift Spear and he can click and block the Nacatl.
That seems fantastic. And he can get some stinker out of his own hand and try to find a counter spell or some life gain.
Yeah. This is a tough spot. Like, so he has an extra Jace he could discard.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this Click is coming in because he, like...
I would want to be as mana efficient as like...
The other option is pathing, blocking. He can't do that and flip Jace. Yeah, I think just clicking is good.
I like it.
So Click, target myself, probably just ship that Verdict, right?
Verdict or Jace?
I think Verdict. I think the Jace is just going to get discarded, and it'll give you value
sure.
to future Ojutai's commands. Found a Cryptic. But
Cryptic's
yet again, the flames.
Best at the moment. Well, he has a redraw with the Jace.
Well, he's like, before damage, I'm going to activate Jace.
Doesn't make too much difference.
Yeah, he found Gideon. That doesn't really change much.
No. Really looking for an island. Might discard the Gideon.
He might path this Nacatl. No, just going to trade.
Okay.
Untaps.
Now he can flip Jace if he wants.
I think he does want.
Yeah, probably wants. So you draw...
I don't think he drew... I think he drew Ojutai's Command.
Ooh. Ooh.
Which would be, if you're keeping a score at home, the best possible draw.
So he could flip Jace and Ojutai's Command immediately
and get
bring
4
back another Jace. Nope.
He's just going to go gain 4 draw.
Okay. This does give him more choices with his loot, because I think he does want to flip Jace right now.
I don't think he does. I think
you want to just fog.
I think.
Fog
I mean,
the attack?
that's the thing. Like, isn't it better to just like this is the one card? Okay, this is the reason why you don't flip the Jace. Is this card exactly?
Okay.
Because this would have been another. This would have put him
one more point.
Yeah. So when Kyle attacks, Dan's going to block and then activate Jace before damage.
Okay.
Block. Kyle responds by going 3 damage to you, +1/+1 my team. Dan's going to say resolves.
And then flip his Jace so it doesn't die.
And activate Jace.
And now, when the Jace flips, he will be able to...
minus it on Ojutai's Command next turn.
Oh, yeah.
Gain 4 life again.
Oh, yeah.
There's another Cryptic being drawn. His mana is just being so cruel to him.
I would be interested, yeah.
Yeah,
get rid of one of those clunker cards.
Yeah. I mean, this... Gideon's also a fine discard.
Yeah.
I think no matter what, we're going to see him go gain 4. Yeah, so drawing that land makes you heavily incentivized, I think, to go gain 4, get back another Jace.
That makes sense.
He also has a Snapcaster, but I think just...
I would want to gain the life immediately, I think.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah, he's playing his land tapped.
Yeah.
Gaining 4. Getting back Jace.
Yeah.
Going up to 7 life.
Makes a lot of sense.
He knows that he can't get punished by a Searing Blaze here because Kyle would need a land. So he just passes back. Dan's slowly crawling his way out of this hole from 2 life. He had to fade, and Kyle drew 2 creatures in a row.
Yeah, that is the cost of putting creatures in your more creatures in your burn deck.
Yes. Hard cast Riftbolt.
Okay. Plays around Cryptic Command.
Ooh, Kyle going after the flip Jace.
And now, Dan
might not block, you think? No, I think you just still block.
It would trade, or it would die.
I think that's fine. You just get in and kill it.
Fair.
Or you path it and have Cryptic Command for the rest of the game. I don't think this Jace needs to be in play.
Yeah, without another, like, Ojutai's Command is the card that he would care about.
Like,
just takes it. Okay.
See, the reason I think you don't, I think it's tempting not to do this is because you are in a good spot at 7 life, because that means you're effectively in the realm of 3 burn spells. Boros Charm changes that.
Yeah.
But you have Cryptic Command.
Right.
Oh, he goes up. Interesting.
So
I guess up is close to this. I guess up is slightly better than down here because of the possibility of more haste creatures.
Sure.
Do we flip Jace now?
Very patient with flipping the Jace here. I'd be pretty interested in getting it active. I guess you want to maybe wait on your loot till you have a card that you really want to get rid of.
Yeah. And yeah, Kyle just drawing more creatures. Well,
it has to attack Gideon, right?
And he's not going to block it? Why?
That makes...
I think you say, yeah, I'm definitely blocking. I don't know why I did that.
I already lowered the loyalty. Alright, now he flips his Jace.
This is not new bans Modern TARDIS Lover. New bans will be in effect next week.
Connor 2257. Good evening.
Alright, Dan. Discarding right now to this Jace activation on Kyle's end step.
Duan found a Mana Leak.
Mana Leak is great here.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle's still only on 3 lands. Also, still notably no white source.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see if he draws any white spells to punish him for how he decided to... Because he had the option.
Yeah, of finding a white source.
On the last fetch, which was after he already had Mountain Stomping Ground, so...
Yeah, so... Drawing Boros Charm definitely could be punished.
Feels bad. We'll see, though. Dan right now, agonizing over what card he wants to discard, goes with the second Path to Exile he has in his hand. Flips his Jace, and now he's got this Planeswalker squad to contend with. I think he's a little punished for not just flipping it on his main... Not really punished. I think he could have safely done that on his main phase.
I think
last turn.
This is a decent time to Verdict. Maybe Verdict and then get in with Gideon.
Yeah, I think that's pretty great.
Yeah. I think Dan would like to get the game over.
Yeah, you know, he's like, you can give him 1 turn to draw a burn spell because next turn you'll have Cryptic.
Right.
And that should give you just enough turns.
Yep.
6 damage coming in, dropping Kyle down to 10. And now Kyle needs to peel a couple in a row, and he drew an Eidolon, which is not great.
Yeah.
That's just going to be an 0-2.
Yeah, it just gets blanked by Jace.
Jace is so good.
This is quite good.
Good lord. Every time I see it, I just am more impressed by it.
You don't feel so bad about spending a lot of money on yours?
Nope. All worth it.
Very.
He's going to minus on Verdict.
Okay.
I guess now that he has Mana Leak up, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Drop Kyle down to 4, and now Kyle's 1 draw step, and I don't think he can beat the Mana Leak. And he doesn't. Dan taking this one down, 2 games to 0, 2 games to 1. Blue-white control. Man, that was actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think Dan got past a decently hard matchup. Ojutai's Command obviously did most of the heavy lifting that game.
Gained 8 life there.
Yeah, that was enough, though.
Yeah. Jace just looked outstanding.
There was no like sideboard card there. No,
He
like
didn't draw
Silver
negate.
Bullet.
He didn't draw dispel. He just
Yeah.
played all the cards that would have been in his main deck. Just like made his deck a little less clunky.
Yeah, he just drew Ojutai's command this time.
Yes.
And it was amazing.
Yep. Looked really good.
Yeah.
All right. Should I hop out and see if we get another match going?
Yeah.
We'll see how much time we
I'll
have
talk
left.
to chat. Yeah, Tom in chat. Yeah, Card Market did opt to run today sanctioned with the old banned list, or I guess the current banned list, technically. But I think the players are definitely excited to be moving into the new era next week, which we will also be covering. AK Cracker asks, what do you think of the new Modern format? Personally, I think it's sweet. I am most certainly going to be acquiring 4 copies of Ancestral Vision at some point in time. I don't have a Modern tournament coming up personally for a little while, but I will definitely be looking to get a playset before I do so. I have no idea like which flavor of blue deck I'm gonna play, or what would be particularly competitive, but I think we'll see pretty quickly. Tom says that they bought them earlier this week for $36 each. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the nice things with Modern, like, bans aside, the cards typically hold value pretty well. And if they just unban a card, it would have to be pretty busted for it to go back on the ban list. So Connor has been playing Norn Soul Sisters to have a good Eldrazi matchup. Very interesting. I'm going to bring it back to the booth, actually. Yeah, so that matchup was pretty interesting. I liked the blue-white control deck. Jace seemed quite good. And I do think that is certainly a card that we're going to see a lot more of after the after the bans kicked in. Ooh, Connor also thinks that Aya Vugan won't go lower than $10. Personally, that is very interesting to me, because I'm actually thinking about picking up the Eldrazi cards for Legacy, because it's actually like maybe the best budget deck in Legacy right now. And if anyone was looking to break into Legacy, I think that seems like a pretty awesome way, picking up Eldrazi cards like right now. Because this is probably going to be their floor, I would assume. Unless like the deck just proves to not be quite good enough to be tier 1 or 1.5 in Legacy. But I think from the results we've seen so far, it's doing pretty well. It's just like a faster, slightly more consistent Mud deck. Maybe more powerful, period. Nettle Sentinel, I am also excited to see if Fairies is playable. I had been taking a break from Magic when Fairies was in Standard, and it looks really fun. I love tribal decks. I like aggro control decks. So, yeah, that sounds pretty sweet. I don't know if Fairies will be like the best way to go with Ancestral Visions, because I imagine the Affinity matchup is still pretty poor. I've heard that in the past that matchup's pretty poor, although Bitter Blossom does seem good. I could also see that maybe Affinity just gets worse now, because the blue control decks just get way better at grinding them. Like, they're just more powerful. Also, Thopter Sword seems very powerful against Affinity. Maybe in Affinity. We'll see. It's definitely a huge shakeup, and it's also interesting that this is probably the biggest shakeup in Modern that has not been directly like attached or stapled onto a Pro Tour, at least like since post Modern Pro Tour 1, when that format was like the complete Wild West. Since then, all of the banned and restricted changes have gone along with a Pro Tour. And now it's just going to be Grand Prix for most of a year. So it will be interesting to see how the format evolves. Hawkman, I am actually not going to get to go to the Invitational. I actually qualified for the Pro Tour in Madrid, so I'm going to be traveling to Europe that Saturday, so I won't have the opportunity to play in the Invitational, actually. Also, if anyone has a broken standard deck, please send it to me. It's a joke, but not a joke, actually. Let's see. Yeah, Nettle Sentinel, Tribal Tempo. That sounds amazing. Any excuse. I would love to play Spellstarter Sprite. I also probably like Scion of Uno way too much. Bitter Blossom also seems awesome. Hawkman, people I'm testing with for standard, mostly local people. Like Phil is helping me out. My friend David Glacier has been giving me a lot of information. And yeah, I mean, I honestly can't say that I've been doing a great job preparing. I'm like decently busy with work and stuff. I don't play on Magic Online, which I think is the biggest detractor, honestly. Like, probably gonna have to look at the SCG Open results and pick something pretty similar to something that does well there. We'll see how it goes.
What, the deck you're playing at the Pro Tour? I think you have the benefit of having even more information because you still get the Invitational.
That's a good point.
Which will have, I mean, like, there's a high quality of talent that plays the Invitational, excluding myself. And people tend to build, like, you're not going to have anything near the format solved. Like, it was when Jacob Wilson won the Invitational, he did it with, like, an incredibly stock list they just threw some new cards into. Reed Duke top-aided with a deck that he, I think, had one card new in it. I think one Dragons of Tarkir card. So I think that's what we're going to see. Like, our really basic level 1 like decks. Stuff like Eldrazi, like red based and possibly white based. I legitimately like the white based decks we come up with, but Chandra, not having Chandra is a big deal. But some combination of red and white Eldrazi. There's going to be mono white aggro.
Maybe
always watching aggro.
Sure.
Is like a very obvious deck.
That's what I want to play.
Yeah. Green white X company. Like either playing blue with Jace and Reflector Mage or not. Just playing like humans, or maybe something like Bygone Bishop, Tireless Tracker, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. There's a lot of, like, there aren't that many cards in the new set that seem head and shoulders above the other cards, except for Avacyn.
Avacyn.
Maybe Sorin.
I think Thing in the Ice is also extremely powerful.
Okay.
Although I think it's
going to be hard to find a home.
I don't agree. I think what it benefits from is being good in a deck where you're not trying to flip it. Like, I think it's best as a defensive creature alongside Ojutai's Command. And I think it'll, like... It's something you don't want to work towards because, like... I don't remember who described this best. I think it was maybe even Ty Anderson or Jerry Thompson. But when you play it in a deck that's like a tempo shell, you, like, cast a bunch of cantrips and flip it real fast, and then what happens when it dies?
Kill it.
And you just, like, have a bunch of lands in your hand. But, like, in a control deck, you just, like, play it. If it dies, whatever. If it doesn't die, you probably just kill them with it. Like, if it's, like, a part of your game plan that you, like, really need to focus on, I think it's a little too inconsistent. But I really like the interaction with Ojutai's Command, and I think it has a spot in a control deck. It's just, like...
You think there could be, like, a blue-white flash deck?
Yeah. I sent you... I sent him a list. He doesn't look at my decks, apparently. That's what I'm hearing. The problem is
kind of fun.
The problem with the blue-white decks that I put together is I don't know what's better between dragons or not. Because if you're playing a flash deck, then you obviously really want Avacyn. But, like,
Jace is not a flash kind of card.
It's still...
it's still great.
Wouldn't even consider playing a blue deck without Jace. Just insanity. I understand that Jace is going to be worse. Jace is, like, necessarily worse. Fetchlands really made it, like... So Jace was, casting the most powerful spells.
Flipping on turn 4.
Or 3.
Yeah.
It's, like, not that hard to flip it on turn 3.
Yeah.
In Rally, you do that all the time!
Yeah.
It's delightful. That deck was broken.
I'm lost.
Yeah, clearly. But
Played the same deck for like 4 months.
I kind of hope that there are no Dromoka's Commands decks so I can play Tutelage at the Invitational. Man, I love Tutelage.
Yeah.
Oath
You
of
do
Jace.
too much.
Oath of Jace.
Play Thing in the Eyes.
Thing in the Eyes.
I think that's your like that's reeling you in. Is
No, plays-
playing Thing in the Eyes.
Also play Chandra. The deck plays like many Chandras.
Tutelage does.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's real good.
Yeah.
It does multiple things, which is important. But yeah, I am playing in the Invitational. I don't know what I'm going to be playing in either format because of these unbannings. These unbannings really threw me for a loop. I'm the one who is sitting here the entire time saying that there was no way Wizards was going to unban one of these cards immediately. And then they just went and made it so it was Christmas.
It was both.
And I could play blue cards again. Oh my god. I was like gonna play blue cards again no matter what, whether or not they were good. But now they're
it might
good.
Actually be good.
They're good now. You can play blue decks.
Yeah.
Feels so good. I don't know what I want to play with my 4 Snapcaster Mages, but
You mean your 4 Ancestral Vision?
and my 4 Snapcaster Mages.
Okay.
I'm not. Those are gonna be in the same deck.
Yeah.
That's just happening.
There are many routes to go. I mean, you could borrow my Tarmogoyfs. That's like one route.
Yep. I don't want to do that, but yep.
Yeah. You could play black cards. You play white cards.
Do you like black cards or do you like white cards?
You
All
play
sorts of
fairies.
options.
Fairies would be sweet.
Fairies is good. Fairies is like pretty awesome. I like Fairies is like a deck that was always on the fringe. It did 13-2 GP Pittsburgh in the hands of Anthony Wynn.
He seemed very intimately familiar with his deck.
He only plays Fairies.
Yeah.
Only plays it.
There's an edge to be gained.
I watched him beat.
You take 2 copies of it?
No, just one. These are round 1. These are round 2.
Thanks, Sherwin.
I watched.
You, Craig.
I think the new Modern is going to be extremely sweet.
I hope so.
Oh man, that's a lot of
That's
red
deck
and white
list.
cards. I don't like that.
That's a Norn deck.
As someone who likes Soul Warden, I can't get behind this. I do think Modern Tesserator is a thing. I do think Goblin Dark Dwellers will see more play. Like, just its interaction with Ancestral... Like, it was already fringe playable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, comfortable saying that. Like, just in a deck with Kolagon's Command.
Yeah.
But, like, putting Vision in the format...
Mm-hmm.
And that's Mole Drifter right there. That's like a real big Mole Drifter.
Yeah.
You don't have to work very hard to make that good. Just like bolting something is like happy enough. But yeah, it's like a Shriekmaw at worst and a Mole Drifter at best, or vice versa.
It is.
It is a 5-mana sorcery, but I think Tesserator is a thing.
Yeah, our group chats have been coming up with a lot of Tezzeret decks.
Some looser than others.
Yeah.
Mostly designed by me. But I can't help myself. The version that Pascal Maynard posted was like probably the baseline for anyone. Just
Okay.
a bunch of discard spells.
Where did you see that?
Channel Firebar?
Oh, I think I've heard of them.
Yes. They're a website on the internet. But it has a bunch of discard spells, not really any counter magic, Thopter's Sword, like a small, like sort of not very intrusive artifact package. Like he had
Okay.
like one Ensnaring Bridge in his deck, just to search for, but nothing insane.
So, wait, so it's...
It was very all in on Thopter's Sword. It had like
Huh.
4 Thopters and 3 swords.
That sounds like too much.
Well, you really want to put it together.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Yeah, but I think it's something to work for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a powerful effect. By the way, the matchup I put on camera right now, it's Nick Ajeri, who always plays sweet decks.
Yeah, I remember him in Legacy playing
Ley
Lines.
Ley lines. Watched him. Man, let me tell you, I play a fair amount of Storm when I can in Legacy.
Right.
Can't beat Ley lines. It's
There
not
are
a good
some
matchup.
problematic Ley Lines that could be put into play.
There's 1.5.
So Leyline of the Void is the half.
Yes.
And the whole is Sanctity.
Yes.
You can empty the Warrens. Not game 1.
If you play it game 1, if you play it in your deck, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate Empty the Warrens.
You can have them not draw it.
Yes.
You can Chain of Vapor it.
Yes. You can't Chain of Vapor 2 of them. Echoing Truth.
Okay.
It's a Echoing Truth, by the way, is a pretty good sideboard card in that deck right now.
Yeah.
Multiple Chalices is a big thing. Multiple Chalices or multiple Sphere effects.
Okay.
I know.
You see Thorn of Amethyst spike to like $15.
I hate that card.
It was like $1
What a miserable
for
card.
the longest time.
All right. In any case, you want to watch some Modern? I want to watch some Modern.
I do. Ooh.
Oh, great. I was not informed that this was starting.
Well, we've missed 3 turns. Nick Gajeri has played 0 spells until now, and it is Kolaghan's Command taking out 2 Steel Overseers.
Well,
but I can run out and get life totals.
yeah, hop out there. Gibbous and Always, personally. I don't like Tess very much. Let me adjust things going on here. Nick Gajeri is the one on your left. He's playing a black-red mid-range deck. Is that Grey Merchant of Asphodel? Wow, I think he's like mostly mono-black. He's got Rakdos Return. Oh my god, there's Kiki in this deck. Kalitas. Grey Merchant for 2. We'll call it black-red mid-range. Maybe Rakdos mid-range is a better way to put it, but it is what it is. He's playing Yakov on the right. I'm gonna look up Yakov's last name.
4 poison, 13 life for Nick.
After the Grey Merchant?
Yes.
4 poison, 13 life, and he's taking 1, 2. He's taking 1, 2.
And 3 poison.
Yep.
So Nick going up to 7 poison.
11, you said?
He was at 13 before this attack.
Took 2.
Yep.
And 7 poison?
Now it's 7.
Oh boy. He's got a ways to come
do.
from. Oh my goodness.
Also took a point of damage to cast Kiki Jiki.
Holy crap.
Kiki Jiki plus Grey Merchant, a bit of a combo. Unfortunately does not deal with these Ink Moth Nexi.
No, it does not. I mean, as long as Yakov doesn't draw a cranial, that's gonna do it. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
This is not Dan Dewan on the right.
Yeah, plating, Ravager, going to put some counters on an Ink Moth Nexus and make it lethal, I believe.
Let's see, Nick gonna drain for 4 here.
Oh yeah, combo.
Does he not go in on it?
Combo.
He's gonna put Nick up to 14. Yakov down to 12. Let's see if he decides to go for it. He's going to go sack Springleaf Drum, put 2 counters, the second counter on Ravager, sack Darksteel Citadel, sack it to itself, put him on that, and Nick is dead.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We missed most of it, but game 1 going to Yakov there. Affinity taking down black-red mid-range.
Fast and Furious with those Chronicles Ornithopters, I believe they were.
Oh yeah, I love Chronicles. Ooh. And Nick's got some good sideboard cards here. He's got Ratchet Bomb. He could bring in these Chalices on the play. I like him on the play.
Yeah.
In general, Chalice I think is, pretty poor on the draw against Affinity. Just like casting it for 0 is really good.
Yeah, exactly 0 is the version of Chalice that I would be interested in.
Yeah, 0, and then if the game goes longer, 2.
Yep.
Beyond that,
a lot of powerful 2-drops in the deck.
I see Yakov had a Torpor Orb to bring in there, which is pretty strong against the old Kiki Jiki Grey Merchant interaction we just saw.
Those are 2 of the 4 spells, I guess, we saw Nick cast in that game.
Yeah.
Kolaghan's Command definitely going to be powerful, but stuff like Rakdos Return, maybe not the matchup for it.
Nor does Demigod Revenge seem like the right card here.
Demigod plus Grey Merchant seems pretty sweet.
It does seem like a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It also does seem like a lot of 5-drops. That, by the way, the card that you were looking at right there, I'll pull it up for a second. Greg, any comment on what card that is?
Is that? I don't know what that is. Arc Bond.
Hey!
Choose target creature. When that creature is dealt damage this turn, it deals that much damage to each other creature and each player.
Boom!
So it's wow.
It's a slow plague wind.
The problem. So I imagine that Nick is envisioning blocking with something, and then getting to wipe the board. Like maybe blocking something with a cranial plating on it.
Something like that would be pretty insane, but he might just kill himself.
Exactly.
Like, I think he's more interested in just casting this and bolting something.
Okay, sure. So build your own.
Slagstorm?
Yeah.
Yeah, he also has Boros Reckoner.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, Nick's got a lot of... Nick has some stretched mana.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's playing a lot of black-red dual lands in his deck. I know that for sure. I even saw Smoldering Marsh in there.
Why not?
But yeah, I think he's playing the Phyrexian Obliterator, and some other. Yeah, good guess. Yeah, it's Phyrexian Obliterator is one of the cards in there. Gray Merchant. I can't remember the equipment, but it was from Mirrodin. It's like a skull helmet. It's the less powerful equipment in this matchup than cranial plating.
Okay.
It means it's like each creature everything must block it or something like that. I can't remember what it is exactly. In any case, Nick going to be on the play for this game. Let's see if he can piece together something against the robot menace here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he does have Bonfire in his deck too. I just want to see a Bonfire get miracled. Is that so much to ask?
It's not that much to ask, but I hope you don't get it.
Thank you. Nick going to keep his hand. Yakov going to ship it back. I mean, Bonfire in the hand this match, is really not the worst. Just like 3 mana Electrickery.
At 3 or 5, they both can be powerful against Affinity. It might be too slow.
In conjunction with other removal spells, it seems pretty powerful.
That's true.
Hey, Gabby. Welcome.
Good evening to Gabby.
I want to see some Phyrexian Obliterators come to town. That's a card I can never get over the fact. Like, I love how good it is against creatures that it shouldn't be good against.
Yeah.
Like at Champion. Or I know in the past, like, the reason to play it was how good it was against Birthing Pod. You just play it, and the Birthing Pod deck just, 1, couldn't kill it.
Yeah.
And 2, lost the game immediately.
Seems great.
All right, looks like Yakov happy enough with his 6-card in. I see a Plating, a Signal Pest in there, at least. And a top. Nick going to start things off with a Bloodstained Mire and a pass.
You had the pleasure of getting crushed by Gabby last night in our draft, right?
I did.
We had the opportunity to Shadows over Innistrad draft last night here at Card Market because we had scrounged up enough packs after pre-release. Mm-hmm. And Phil and I did terribly.
Format's sweet. I'm all about it.
It did seem great.
I like it. I really don't know. Like, we've done 1 draft. When I do, 50 drafts, I'll let you know how good the format is. But after 1, I can't really say for certain.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. I had a good time. I did not draft very well.
I agree. Well, all of those sentiments apply to me as well. I would say if you drafted poorly, I drafted abominably.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, Nick going to just play a Bloodstained Mire and pass. Yakov, let's see what 2-drop he's got. 2 more. Oh, this Bonfire. Oh, dear. Oh, this is not very nice.
I think Nick is licking his lips. Hopefully he has the 3rd land.
Oh, he does. He's got a Graven Cairns.
Perfect.
All black-red lands. Graven Cairns has got to be the best land in this deck.
Who needs basics?
My goodness. I asked for a Bonfire. It doesn't even need... I mean, he can Miracle 1 here, and it'd be the same as him playing the 1 in his hand.
I think he would... Dross Liliana, Heretical Healer. Oh, yeah.
Bonfire for 1.
Oh, yeah. That all goes away.
Oh, all of them. And you take... Not only that, but you take 1.
Don't you miss this card from Standard?
This never happened. They never drew it and did it for 1. They drew it and, later did it for 5.
I played a lot of Junk Aristocrats. I lost to Bonfire a lot. That matchup against Jund was amazing, except for that 1 card.
Yeah, Bonfire was good.
Yeah, it was really dumb.
Yakov drawing Mox Opal for the turn. Looks like he has Mountain and Cranial Plating. I think his last card is Torpor Orb. Pretty good to get Torpor Orb down now. He's going to go with the Plating.
Connor 2257. We haven't gotten the chance to scout the room just yet. If we have time between rounds here, maybe Phil or I can pop out and see which decks are floating to the top.
Yeah.
As far as specifically Death and Taxes or Hate Bears, I cannot say for sure.
Vampire Nighthawk. Let's pull Vampire Nighthawk.
Oh yeah.
I like this card.
Limited powerhouse, former standard, playable.
Playable is probably the best way to put it. Alright. Yakov drawing Arcbound Ravager for the turn here. I mean, the fact that it just blocks this Ravager is good enough.
Trades with whatever.
And there's Torpor Orb.
Nighthawk don't care.
Nick does not have an answer to the Torpor Orb right now, but with all the... Oh, he does have a Kolaghan's Command.
Thank you, Hawkman. Phil's doing a terrible job tonight.
I am out of it. I think we're going to see maybe a Shock on the Ravager and then a Shatter on the... I mean, like... So it's tempting to kill the Torpor Orb because it turns on Grey Merchant. On the other hand, Plating is a way better card. So maybe you just kill the Plating?
That seems fine.
Oh, yeah. When your opponent is attacking with their Death Touch creature when you have your Ravager out...
Yeah.
Not the best feeling.
It doesn't bode well. Here's another Nighthawk.
All right. Mono Nighthawk control.
It is a little awkward. I think Nick is stuck with a bit of a clunky hand here. He has 2 more 3-drops and a 5-drop.
And the 5-drop does nothing right now.
Yeah, if Nick draws a land next turn, he gets to go Kolaghan's Command and Liliana Heretical Healer, but yeah, so he gets to trade off his Nighthawk for a Welding Jar.
That's fine.